Welcome back to the Gentleman's Gazette. In today's video, we'll discuss whether an iconic American dress shoe, the Park Avenue from Allen Edmonds, is worth your money or not. Today's video is another installment in our ongoing series, Is It Worth It?, where we take an in-depth look at the history and quality of various menswear and luxury brands. You can find the full playlist here. This video will focus on what is perhaps the standard to which all other American dress shoes are compared, the Park Avenue from Allen Edmonds. Before we go over the shoe itself, though, let's start with a brief history of the company. In 1922, Albert W. Allen Sr. founded a shoe company in Belgium, Wisconsin. Ralph Spiegel was an initial investor and partner to Allen, but he was later bought out by William Edmonds. Therefore, the company was christened Allen Edmonds. The company quickly gained notoriety for their innovative manufacturing processes, such as removing nails and metal shanks from their construction to create a more flexible and lightweight shoe, referred to as osteopathic in its early years of production. The shank of an Allen Edmonds shoe would often be made of wood to maintain durability while increasing comfort. After providing shoes to the U.S. Army and Navy during World War II, Allen Edmonds gained a major following, as many of the soldiers from these branches of the military became lifelong customers of the brand thereafter. Founder Elbert Allen died in 1946, at which time his son Elbert Jr. took over control of the company. He was followed in turn by his brother Boyd in 1968 and then by John Stollenwerk in 1980. The original factory in Belgium, Wisconsin burned to the ground in January of 1984. Following both a literal and metaphorical rebuild, Allen Edmonds opened a factory in nearby Port Washington, Wisconsin, where they still operate today. We're showing some photos here from Raphael's trip to the factory, but if you'd like to see some video footage, you can check out these offerings from the Cavalier and the Elegant Oxford here. In 1987, the subsidiary company Woodlore was launched, manufacturing shoe trees and other accessories. The 1990s were a period of great growth and expansion for Allen Edmonds, during which time they purchased the Maine Shoe Company of Lewiston, Maine, and began to diversify their product range, incorporating other products such as umbrellas. In 2003, the company invested $1 million to refit their factory in order to cut down on production costs. This may have been a sign that the boom of the 90s was coming to an end. By 2006, they were again concerned with rising manufacturing costs and wanted to enter other shoe markets. As such, they closed their factory in Lewiston, Maine, and opened a factory in the Dominican Republic. While the factory in Port Washington still produces the classic lines of dress shoes in-house, some of the other lines, such as boat shoes, are now produced in the Dominican Republic. Additionally, some leathers for other models are cut in the Dominican Republic and then assembled in the United States. Also in 2006, 90% of the company's shares were purchased by Minneapolis-based investment firm Goldner, Hawn, Johnson & Morrison for $100 million. In 2013, the company was acquired by private equity firm Brentwood Associates, and in 2016, Brentwood sold it to shoe conglomerate Caleres for $255 million. The current president today is Malcolm Robinson, who has previously worked for a variety of other menswear brands, including Phillips Van Heusen. Today, Allen Edmonds pride themselves on their history and status as an iconic American shoe company. Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush are just some of the many American presidents who have worn Allen Edmonds shoes, and Park Avenues in particular. Allen Edmonds also differentiates itself from many other shoe companies by offering a recrafting service, whereby customers can send in old or worn pairs of Allen Edmonds shoes to be largely rebuilt for a fee. As part of this recrafting, the welt will be replaced and a new cork lining inserted. The soles, heels, and laces will also be replaced, and the uppers will be polished. So long as there are no deep cracks or tears in the leather of the uppers and linings, Allen Edmonds will generally be able to recraft a shoe 2 or 3 times. While you could, of course, take a pair of Allen Edmonds shoes to your local cobbler to be repaired, sending it to Allen Edmonds means that the shoe will be stretched over the original last shape again, ensuring that it maintains its original dimensions. Despite Allen Edmonds' heritage and reputation for quality, however, they do find themselves today at a bit of a crossroads. Their attempts in recent years to reach a younger, less formal clientele with more avant-garde designs haven't necessarily fared well. This approach also alienated some longtime customers, meaning that Allen Edmonds was somewhat stuck in the middle. Also, other longtime buyers and fans within the menswear community, both on online forums and YouTube among other places, have begun to notice increasing issues with quality control. So, with all that said then, let's take a look at their signature model, the Park Avenue. This is a lace-up, cap-toe Oxford dress shoe. Allen Edmonds refers to it on their website as a cap-toe Balmoral. While Balmoral is a term often used, especially in America, to refer to Oxfords, it most technically refers only to a kind of boot. You can find our article on that subject here. And what's an Oxford? The shortest answer is this. Oxford shoes have a closed lacing system where the vamp is sewn onto the quarters, whereas Derby shoes have an open lacing system where the quarters are sewn onto the vamp. If you would like to learn more about any of this terminology, you can find our video on the differences in shoe styles here, and our article on the anatomy of a dress shoe here. Like many models of Allen Edmonds shoes, the Park Avenues are Goodyear welted, meaning that the uppers are stitched to a cork-filled welt and then to the sole. The Park Avenue receives an assembly method that Allen Edmonds refers to as their 360-degree bench welt construction. A 360-degree welt holds no real advantage over the more conventional 270-degree welt in terms of quality, but it does allow Allen Edmonds to more easily replace the welt and the sole when shoes are being recrafted. The shoes feature a single oak leather sole with rubber top lifts on the heel, lined calfskin leather uppers made from premium horween leather, and 6 pairs of eyelets for the laces. They're welted on the 65 last, which is Allen Edmonds' most popular shape and also used for many other models, including the closely related 5th Avenue. This particular last is known for being slightly longer than the typical American dress shoe last, adding some sleekness to the overall shape. With that said, though, the overall styling of the shoe is very traditionally American. While it's not exactly chunky or unattractive, the shape isn't nearly as refined as what you might see from many other British or Italian shoemakers today. In addition to this, the toe cap is a good deal shorter than many other brands. For today's video, we purchased a new pair of shoes online directly from Allen Edmonds for a retail price of $395. We decided to go with black, which is perhaps the most signature and conservative shade. In addition to this new pair, we're also featuring a pair in brown that I've personally owned for about a year now. My pair are factory seconds, meaning that I purchased them at a discount with the understanding that they didn't necessarily meet the quality control standards to be sold at full price. I got my pair for $250. Furthermore, as I have poor balance due to a disability, I had rubber half soles added to my shoes by a local cobbler. Allen Edmonds does offer a variety of other sole styles in addition to standard leather, including day-and-night rubber. Overall, we found the workmanship on this new pair of shoes to be of high quality. Stitching on the uppers was uniform, with a pleasing stitch density and very few loose thread ends, and the welt stitching was largely uniform with a few minor imperfections. There was a slight notch where the welt meets the heel on the left shoe, but this wasn't major. The leather did have creases or imperfections in some areas, but these were all quite minor and could likely be covered or even removed with proper care and polishing over time. One somewhat unattractive feature is the slight hump where the vamp meets the toe cap. This could be mitigated during production by skiving or trimming away at the underside of the leather at this seam to a greater degree. The sides of the soles received a uniform black painting that didn't greatly spill over onto the undersides of the soles. My factory second pair did have more imperfections in the leather of the uppers and the soles, and some uneven stitching on the welts. Still, this was to be expected given that they were factory seconds, and they've been holding up well over a year's worth of occasional wear. Also, here's a brief word on the overall quality control issues we alluded to earlier. While we didn't experience any major defects with the pair we purchased for today's video, and I also didn't experience anything major with my factory second pair, it's becoming an increasingly shared opinion in online menswear spaces that Allen Edmonds has begun to cut back on quality control to some degree. This should be taken with a grain of salt, however, as demand for premium quality calfskin continues to increase worldwide, and even reputable brands like Horween can sometimes struggle to find enough perfect leather pieces for every single pair of shoes they produce. Other brands, for example fellow American company Alden, have managed to keep up their extremely exacting quality standards. With this, though, their prices are substantially higher, as much as $600 per pair, and discounts on their shoes are rare. So, you may have to be a bit more cautious when buying from Allen Edmonds today, but we're not going to go so far as to suggest that the overall quality of their product has dramatically decreased. With that said, though, the Cavalier has also done a video on the current state of Allen Edmonds as a company today, and you can find it here. Regarding fit and comfort of the Park Avenues, we'll start with my own personal pair, since I've obviously worn them quite a bit more. I will say that they did have a bit of a break-in period, perhaps 2 or 3 wears, where I did find them to be slightly uncomfortable, particularly in the heels, where I experienced some irritation and mild blistering. After this initial break-in period, though, I've had no further issues, and I now find my shoes to be quite comfortable. I wear a size 8.5D in most dress shoes, and that's the size of both my personal pair of Park Avenues and the ones we purchased for the video. I find that both pairs fit relatively well, though the quarters do gap somewhat, and there is a bit of space in the heel. I could certainly try a different fit. In fact, one point of pride for Allen Edmonds is the wide variety of different fit options they offer. Many models will range all the way from size 5 AAA at the smallest and narrowest to 15 EE at the largest and widest. I was fitted to a size 8.5D, however, when I visited an Allen Edmonds store locally, so it may just be that the 65 last on which the Park Avenue is built isn't the ideal last shape for my foot. As a side note here, I'll also mention that I do own a handful of other pairs of Allen Edmonds shoes in different styles and made on different lasts, and I've found that the initial break-in period and overall fit of the shoe has varied somewhat from pair to pair. After these varying break-in periods, though, I have again found that the shoes fit well overall and are generally quite comfortable. Raphael also owns a handful of Allen Edmonds shoes as well as boots, and his experience has varied from pair to pair. Some pairs he likes more than others. Now for our main question of the video then. Is a pair of Park Avenues from Allen Edmonds worth your money or not? Ultimately, it's likely going to depend on your budget as well as your taste. As we said before, Allen Edmonds currently sells Park Avenues on their website for a retail price of $395, though they do often run sales, so you should be able to find them for less. The shoes are well made with no major flaws and a durable construction. If you properly care for them and wear them in rotation with other shoes, they should last you for a good many years. Remember also that you can send them back to the factory in Port Washington for around $100 to $150 per pair to have them recrafted, extending their life even further. Even so, their overall look is definitely conservative and not quite as elegant as some other British or Italian models that you might find today. If you're looking for a more flattering silhouette at a similar price point, you might want to consider spending your money elsewhere. Speaking personally, I don't mind the slightly stodgy or old-fashioned silhouette of the shoes. In fact, I find some more modern European models to be too bold, so this isn't a downside for me. If you haven't purchased from Allen Edmonds before and you'd like to try out some of their styles, including the Park Avenue, you might want to do as I did and try factory seconds first. Currently, seconds aren't available on the Allen Edmonds website all the time, but you will find them occasionally. If you do decide to sign up for their email list, they'll notify you when seconds go on sale. So, while they may not be the most elegant dress shoes on the market today, and quality control is perhaps a bit more of a gamble than it was in past years, the models from Allen Edmonds and the Park Avenue in particular stand as quality American dress shoes. They're durable, comfortable, recraftable, and made in the USA, with a few exceptions on each of these points. Are they the best shoe on the market today? Not necessarily. But they are a dependable shoe that should serve you well as a sort of base model, and for that reason, we think they are worth it. In today's video, I am of course wearing a pair of Allen Edmonds Park Avenue cap-toe Oxfords. These are the brown models that I've had for about a year now. To go for a more conservative and traditional look, I've chosen to pair them with a charcoal brown suit that features a fine pinstripe in tan and light blue. The jacket is ventless and the trousers have pleats as well as suspender buttons. As such, I'm wearing suspenders today, which happen to also be blue, harmonizing with the overall yellow and blue color palette which I've got going. I'm also wearing a pastel yellow dress shirt with French cuffs, in which I'm wearing the gold-plated sterling silver eagle claw cufflinks from Fort Belvedere, featuring lapis lazuli as the stone. The cufflinks harmonize well with my other accessories, which are also from Fort Belvedere. These include my boutonniere, which is an Edelweiss model, my socks, which are shadow-striped models in navy and yellow, my madder silk tie, also in navy with a repeating diamond motif in red, buff, and orange, and my silk wool blend pocket square in a color we're calling antique gold ochre, featuring a pattern of printed geometric medallions in beige, red, and blue with a cream contrast edge. You can find all of the accessories I'm wearing in today's outfit, including the cufflinks, tie, pocket square, boutonniere, and socks in the Fort Belvedere shop here.